phone call. Motel. Who could it be? Who could it be? I just can't imagine who. Could it be Satan?
Armchair.
Community Access Channel.
He's the armchair quarterback. He's full of beer and he's full of snacks. The all-American man with a crew under his feet.
Yeah, howdy, hi, top of the morning to you. Welcome to the Armchair Quarterback Radio Show. Mac McGee, and I had to fast forward through that. Justin, I hit that button. I looked down and go, that thing is a 2.5 minute intro. We ain't got time for that nonsense. Let's go, baby. Let's go. It's Clemson Day. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing good. A little disgruntled here locally with my Titans, but we'll get to that later in the week, and we'll move on. Getting a bad echo. Is that on your end, or am I just hearing it?
I don't hear it.
We're all good then.
Okay. But that doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? So here's hoping. It could just be a Wi-Fi connection. Hopefully someone chimes in and lets us know. All right. Well, real quick, what are you talking about with the Titans? Is it because is it practicing, or is there something else?
Well, I mean, it's the Julio Jones missing practice since he went off on last Monday. You miss a week, and then if you take any seriousness in the allegations that came out the end of July in the Pro Football Talk report that references Jones and Roddy White may have had one of their business dealings could have been astray and has some money laundering implications. So it's been kind of swept under the radar. I don't know how much merit where they are as them as an owners and how much they actually participated. They are being sued by a fellow business partner. But I find it odd that 3 days later, we're being cautious and we're keeping them off the field. So I'm a little worried. And been arguing with some fellow Titans fans. And you knew I had reservations about this trade going in. Now I'm sitting back like, oh, boy, what we got here. So it just confirmed to me it's a leg injury. Nobody is announcing what it is. Obviously, Vrabel's not going to announce it. They're going to keep him on a snap count. He's not going to divulge any information. But when you miss 7 games on a lower body injury last year, you have to question what is going on.
So I must have missed something. He's being implicated in some kind of money laundering scheme?
Well, it's a cannabis dealing that apparently a business company that they partner with
He's
is
just a little drug money.
This is crazy. I mean, you go back to, he has had a past with this. I don't know if anybody remembers his recruitment at Alabama, but I believe he was a witness in a trial with a similar scenario. So again, he's an owner of a company, and the question is apparently it was a legal business, but there's question as to whether that some of that product cultivated may have been sold on the black market to a tune of about $3 million a month. And, my big question is, hey, that all sounds fine and dandy. And I'm sure if you're the owner, they're lawyers and, owning the company doesn't admit guilt. Maybe they didn't notice it was happening. But my big question is, hey, I've had issues with the IRS. They don't play around. They don't care who owns it. They're going to good news, $3 million a month untaxed. They're coming for money.
The good news on that is they usually take a hot minute to get everything together. So I don't think
2021 contract negotiation coming up with the Titans. What do you do there?
You wait and you see. Who cares about that? 2021, he gets out there and plays. He's going to be really motivated, by the way. If he's going to have to pay lawyers to fight the IRS, I'm just going to put that out there. He's going to be extremely motivated.
Career year.
Right. I do believe that they are going to probably wait and see how he works inside their system before they lock him up long term, because isn't he 31 years old, somewhere in that area? I think
he's at least 31.
Yeah,
I want to say it was more like, I thought it was older than that, but
I don't think so, because I think he was pretty young when he came into the league. But anyways, we can look it up in a second. But the point is, I don't want to lock him up long term, because you got other guys you're going to have to pay down the road, and I don't want it to hamstring. Look, don't hamstring yourself where you can't re-sign AJ Brown, right?
Speaking of that, let me get this in before we run out of time, because I know we do this. But are the Jacksonville Jaguars going to sign Michael Thomas? Is this now free agent number 1? Is Urban going to re-get his guy? Because I believe he oversaw him a little bit at Ohio State. I don't know if he actually coach the team he was on, but I think he helped recruit him. I can't remember where the actual retirement happened, but man, there's a lot of ties there.
Michael
And
Thomas.
if he's truly disgruntled and wants out of the Saints and feels like they're bad mouthing him, man, that could be free agent number one right there for the Jacksonville Jaguars. Go get Trevor Lawrence, a stud number one to put outside a chart.
Well, he definitely would have been at Ohio State when Urban Meyer was there, because he came into the NFL in the 2016 draft, and Urban Meyer was definitely there by 2015.
I just couldn't remember if they overlapped or not.
I almost think 2015 was the year Ohio State beat Alabama and then went on and won the national championship. If it wasn't 2015, it was right before it. No, you know what? That was the 2014 year, because that was the year that Florida State lost to Oregon. Ohio State ramrodded Bama, and then they beat Oregon pretty handily as well. So that was 2014. So he was definitely there. It would have been the year before he left. So he definitely played for Urban Meyer. That's an interesting. Whether or not they would make a trade for him, probably not, because he's hurt all to hell. And who the hell wants to make a trade for this guy? Realistically, now I don't know how long he's locked up for. I don't have his contract in front of me right now, but I will find it on Spot Track here in 1 second.
I know with their cap situation that if this stays disgruntled and you've got your head coach publicly, pretty much bashing you for putting off an off-season procedure that's going to keep you out a little bit of the fall, pretty much. I don't know, man. That's some disgruntledness right there. Head coaches usually don't air that into the media.
That is going to have to be a trade, because he's 28 years old. He still has this year and 3 others left on his contract, and he's an unrestricted free agent at the age of 32 in 2025. So if you're going to make a deal, you got to make it in the near future. I'm not giving up a number 1 pick for him because he's had too many injuries, but I could see giving up a number 2 and seeing how it works out. Because, man, you're talking about helping out the Jaguars in a big way quickly.
Buddy, you're missing the close to the sale here. You've got the stash. They need a quarterback. Maybe.
Who needs a quarterback?
Gardner Minshew. Drew Brees retired. Let's trade the stash.
Nobody wants Gardner Minshew, man. I wish. Hey, okay. Even Stephen Trey, nobody wants him. And he's a backup at best. What a circus that would be, and a fun circus, wouldn't it be? Gardner Minshew goes to the New Orleans Saints, and with Jameis Winston and the Swiss Army knife, and they just rotate in and out, and it makes every fantasy football nightmare come true. Every Sunday. Who do I start? I don't know, dude, because I don't know who's starting. Yeah. Jameis Winston's slated to start. 5 plays later, here comes Gardner Minshew. Then it's Taysom Hill to bail him out at the end.
All right, boys, heads up. 3-quarterback league coming. Thank you, Saints.
All right, let's go ahead and dive into the first quarter of the Armchair Quarterbacks, as we're going to go flying into the Clemson Tigers. The Clemson Tigers. By the way, later on, we got the Pittsburgh Steelers. So that's what this is about. I'm going to try to update this, but we'll see how motivated I am to do this. And by the way, I'm glad I did that. That son of a gun was about to go ass over tea kettle right onto my keyboard. Probably would have knocked us off the air. Okay. The Clemson Tigers this year, they are supposedly in a rebuild year, but yet they're ranked in the top 3 in almost every poll, the preseason poll that you see coming out. So they literally have become Alabama East, right? They just reload. This team has been out recruiting everybody in the ACC for the last several years, and they come flying into this year to start. We just talked about this yesterday. It's kind of why I picked Clemson today. Is that we just talked about this yesterday. The Clemson Georgia game is the first game of the season. What a nightmare for the team that loses that game. What a beautiful thing for the team that wins that game, by the way. Like, I've only given the bad side of it. If you win that, you're like, you're putting your chest out. What if Bama struggles against Miami? I don't expect them to lose against Miami, but you never know. But what if Bama struggles against Miami, only beats them by like 7 to 10 points? And Clemson or Georgia, whoever it is, they win. would you probably put them in front of Bama in week 2? We already have the big debate.
No.
Oh, I would. If Bama,
I mean, you would just to
if Bama doesn't blow out
ruffle some
Miami,
feathers.
hey, well, that's true. If, I
Look at
ruffle.
them.
I like to set feathers on fire. But Bama, if Bama doesn't blow up Miami by 3 scores, 17 to 21 points, bare minimum, I would pretty much argue whoever wins that Clemson Georgia game is the number 1 team in the country. I'm not saying that they're going to win the national championship. I'm just saying in week 2. I like to see the topsy-turvy. I like to see. I don't like it when one team sits up there, right? I like to see the topsy-turvy, the arguments. It doesn't mean as much anymore because remember when we were growing up, right? They've been a big deal because you're worried about getting in the top 2 slot. Hell, pre-BCS, it was a really big deal. Like, if I can just stay number 1, because I don't know I might get forced to go play the number 12 team in the country in the who gives a crap bowl, and I'm going to need some style points. But if they don't win the first game, Clemson, they've got to run the table in a bit. I think they have to be impressive, don't you?
I think they will, and I think they have to have that, and I don't really see the blemish on the schedule, ACC wise. I just don't see a huge program or competitor that's out there. I question maybe
October 30th, baby. The Florida State Seminoles come a calling.
Is the state game in Raleigh? Maybe, but the 2 the possible losses I think are the bookends of the SEC games. One, obviously the Georgia at the stop, and then the last game of the season against South Carolina. Not that I think South Carolina is going to be some powerhouse, but you never know in those rivalry games.
Right.
It's just opportunities there, and I believe the game is in Columbia.
Best case scenario, if you're a Clemson fan, this team beats Georgia. Doesn't matter if it's by 1 or by 20. And they run the table. They're undefeated. And they go to the playoffs. Give me your worst case scenario for the Clemson Tigers in 2021. And I'm not saying they go 0-12 because we all know better than that. But say we know what the ceiling could be. What do you think their floor could be? Because I've got a scenario, but I want to hear yours first.
10-2. I mean, I could see them losing the Georgia game, and then I could see a state, whether that's NC or Florida, maybe a Boston College, a rough road game. Trying to schedule off my memory of the road and homes, but yeah, I don't.
Okay, sorry,
I can't pick 2 out of that entire roster. It doesn't matter home or away that I foresee can beat them.
Sorry, I thought you had the schedule in front of you. So after Georgia, they play South Carolina State the next week at home. They're at home against Georgia Tech. They're at NC State, the game that you referred to. That's September 25th. So a good 3 weeks in between that and the Georgia game. They come home, no off week. They play a dangerous Boston College team who has a really good quarterback. Then they're at Syracuse after a bye week. So they get a bye week. They go to Syracuse. It is on a Friday night. We do know that there are some ghosts in Syracuse when it comes to Clemson football. They've lost up there very recently. Then they go to Pittsburgh right after that. Then they host Florida State. They're at Louisville. These are all with no bye weeks. Home at UConn, home at Wake Forest, and at South Carolina. There's their floor where I think that they could man, this is a bad year for Clemson football. They lose to Georgia. They lose to a tough NC State team. And they either lose to Pittsburgh, which I think is more likely on October 23rd, or they're so beat up by that Pittsburgh defense that they lose to Florida State, falling asleep at the wheel on October 30th because it's a home game. Remember how was it last year that North Carolina almost knocked off Clemson at home, and you're like, where the hell is going? Or was that 2 years ago? I can't remember because there were fans in the stands, but it's a blur because so many teams are some teams had fans in the stands and some didn't.
I'd be lying. I can't remember the year. I feel like it was last season though.
I feel like it was too, but it could. I know Mac Brown was there. How many is this Mac Brown's second or third year? I'm starting to get dementia.
Which tenure?
Fair enough. And then at Louisville, which could be tough as well. One of those 3 games I could see them losing because it's a home road. And they are programs, all 3 of those programs, they're none that scares a national power if they have weeks to build up to it. But if you ain't paying attention, if you're not paying attention, I could see it. And then of course, I don't think there's any way in hell that they would lose to UConn or Wake Forest, especially in a year where this has already happened. And then at South Carolina, we don't know what to expect from South Carolina, but it is a rivalry game. So my worst case, my floor for them could be possibly 3 total losses. Georgia, NC State, and maybe South Carolina, but I wouldn't sleep on Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh defense should be pretty solid this year, and they do get that quarterback back, which I thought he left. I think Sean and I did the Pittsburgh capsule a couple of weeks ago, and in my head, I thought he was gone. I kept it tearing him, he was gone. Hell, I watched him walk on senior day, and they're like, no, he's coming back. He's a super senior for COVID. So Pittsburgh could be a pain in the ass, especially if any of these games, Florida State, Louisville, or Pittsburgh, if they kick that sucker off at noon, that's where you sneak up on somebody, right? They're wiping the sleepies out of their eyes, looking and go, is it 17-3 at the half? What's going on here? That's how you sneak up. You ain't sneaking up on Clemson at home if it's a night game. So that's why I give Florida State the least chance, because if Florida State has any kind of a football team, they'll put that on the ACC network at 7:30 kickoff, and it's a wrap.
Mark, they might be doing it for Bobby this year, so don't sleep on him, baby.
Yeah, but that only carries so much weight. I mean, I do know Dion has 1 year of eligibility left. So maybe he can scooch in there if they have a bye week at Jackson State.
I mean, if it's an abysmal year, he's got all the eligibility in the world to come in and coach for you. He's next. I mean, let's just get that out of the way.
We'll see. We'll see if Norvell can actually do. I think Norvell is doing a pretty damn good job. He's quietly having a hell of a recruiting class. I think he's doing a good job so far. We haven't seen it on the field, but that's a big difference between a COVID year and this, in my opinion, this isn't necessarily his first year, but I feel like it's the middle of his first year, because last year I'm scrapping. But as far as Clemson goes, I feel like they're probably going to be a 1-loss team heading to the playoffs. But a boy can dream, can he? We'll actually get. I'd love to see a topsy-turvy. I'd love to see no Clemson, no Alabama in the playoffs for once. And I know ESPN thinks that they need him there, and this is. But as well as I do. Pick real quick before we have to run. Let's say in realistic. I'm not talking about putting Tennessee or Florida State in there. Realistically, give me 4 teams that could end up in the playoffs that are not Clemson and Alabama, or Ohio State for that matter, because they're all 3 always in there. Give me 4 teams you're like, man, this would be a cool thing to see. It would be different.
State, NC State, Texas A&M, Indiana. I can't off the top of my head pick the 4th. I'm looking Big 12, but there ain't enough schools left. I don't know. Okay.
Yeah,
I don't even want to see Oklahoma or Texas either.
Yeah. Texas,
give me a wild card. Let Northwestern do something crazy. Let me see Fitzgerald get his boys back playing.
Texas wouldn't bother me, but Oklahoma's been in there a boat ton too, so it'd be boring. Let me grab an SEC team and let me say the Georgia Bulldogs. Okay, that they're actually, although I know that's not new, but they haven't been in a few years. So give me the Georgia Bulldogs. In the ACC, give me North Carolina, the Tar Heels.
That'd be my other. I mean, shit, I don't know the divisions. You got to forgive me if I just made a team statement, but can they play each other?
Please,
in the ACC championship.
Please blurb that out. By the way, I hope someone caught that. So in North Carolina, Georgia, Big Ten. I really like the Indiana one. And I don't. So let's say Indiana, and if I throw a fourth team in there, let me go out west. Let me go out west and talk crazy. And let's say Clay Helton keeps his job and he sends the Southern Cal Trojans rolling in. That would be fun. Because it would literally feel like a tournament. You're like, dude, this feels like a tournament. Anybody could win. Not the Clemson Bama Invitational we always get. What's your walk-off for the day, sir?
I lost it with that mic drop I just had a minute ago. I apologize.
It happens. They're usually pretty quick about grabbing it. I'll get it.
My bad to everybody out there if it didn't. Apologies.
And if they didn't, I'm sure you've heard worse.
Sorry, dude.
Right.
It's an old segment we like to bring back every now and then.
Sorry, dude. That thing will definitely be coming back come football season. All right, brother. We will see you Friday. I know I sent it to you, but I don't have it.
Yeah, non-power 5.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I can't wait for this one.
Which, I mean, we're going to have to tailor that in some because, you know, I don't know where we roam, but I think I can name 2 of the schools, and we'll get together off air and make sure we got a list out.
Yeah, Friday's going to be fun. We're going to come up with Power 5 schools that we think could upset the apple cart. So Friday is our football Friday this week is going to be a non-Power 5 day. Trust me, all the capsules going forward are much more fun than when we were doing. I don't remember some of the things I was doing earlier in Texas Southern or whatever the hell I was doing in the middle of June. All right, brother. We'll see you Friday.
See you, sir. Have a great week.
We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. Bobby's on his way. We're going to do some fantasy football, and we're also going to do some Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll be back in a flash here on the Armchair Quarterbacks.
I apologize for the distractions.
The Armchair Quarterback Show, weekdays, coast to coast, Southern Sports Talk Radio. Your first choice for sports talk, live from the First Coast.
You'll do anything to stay healthy. So isn't it time to think about your water? Aquasana water filters remove contaminants other filters don't, like lead, bacteria, viruses, and pesticides. Up to 99% of 88 contaminants, while leaving vital minerals you need like potassium, calcium, and magnesium. Visit waterfilter.com now and use promo code RADIO to get 50% off. That's waterfilter.com, promo code RADIO for pure, delicious water and the ultimate peace of mind. Aquasana, better water, better you.
Armchair Quarterbacks Radio covers the whole SEC the whole season long.
Dobbs heaves it. They're bunched up in the end zone. It's tipped up. It's caught. Just the start of things. First quarter at the gate of ball in Jacksonville as Walker spins to the right. Look out. He's got a blocker, cuts to the inside. Herschel Walker, there he goes again. Straight up the middle. Touchdown. Delayed reaction, but Tebow got in. Oh, jump pass. How about that? It's like 1955. Holy cow. Are you kidding me?
Armchair.
Take the road less traveled in the newly redesigned Hyundai Santa Fe. With available H-Track all-wheel drive to help you get off the beaten path a little further together. And intuitive safety features that can help you see what's waiting around the bend. Plus, with generous room for 5 and comfortable available Napa leather seating, you can go for more drives as a family without driving each other crazy. Find new adventures together in the Hyundai Santa Fe.
Welcome to the jungle. Jim Rome on the air, noon to 3 Eastern. Only on CBS Sports Radio.
Heavenly Father, we thank you tonight for all your blessings.
NASCAR is back, and the Armchair Quarterbacks have got you covered. We'll talk the races, the standings, the news of NASCAR, and we'll also go into fantasy NASCAR. NASCAR is back on the Armchair Quarterbacks, a Southern tradition, because if you ain't rubbing, you ain't racing.
Follow CBS Sports Radio in the Twitterverse for breaking sports news. Go to twitter.com/CBS Sports Radio.
Lift up your shirt, son.
I need an adult. I need an adult.
You're not a shoplifter. You're just a fat kid. Hey, Tom, he's just a fat kid. Aren't you, fatty? You're just a big old fat kid. Here's some chocolate, fatso.
Thanks.
Are you listening?
Good morning, and welcome back here to the Armchair Quarterbacks. Bobby, let's check and see where we're at. Did you find the league?
I was looking for it. There were two different red zones, though. I don't think I could get in. There was one with there was two different.
That's fine. That's okay.
Yeah. So we'll just have to draft through you, I guess.
Yeah. That's fine. I meant to long story, but I wasn't able to get in beforehand. So it's really difficult to set these up with two players when you come on mid-show is the short of it, but that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go ahead and dive into the Pittsburgh Steelers talk, because the fantasy football talk is going to start up here in just a second. I got to make sure that I'm paying attention to what's going on here. So I'll share the screen here in a minute as soon as I see that we actually go into the league room. Pittsburgh Steelers, diving into what they are expected to do this year is a little difficult, because the Steelers, to me, of all the teams in the National Football League, you could convince me this team could get it together and go to the Super Bowl. You could also convince me that this team is going to go like 5-12 and just be absolutely awful because Ben Roethlisberger has lost his fastball.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you sit with the Pittsburgh Steelers this year?
I'm a lot closer to the 5-12 mark than the Super Bowl for you. I think they're going to finish with around 7 or 8 wins. I'm not confident in Ben Roethlisberger too much anymore. Their receiving core is still nice. They've got Juju. They brought him back. Claypool, all them. The defense is fairly stout, but overall the team isn't built to win too many games in my mind.
So you're thinking that they're going to be horrible?
Not quite horrible, but around the 500 mark, probably, yeah.
Well, I'm glad you said that, because Mike Tomlin's here to talk to you. No, I'm joking. So let me check on the screen, by the way, to make sure. I think it's about to load. So we'll probably get a few picks in here on this. When you look at their season, they start off in Buffalo. That's not good. That's not good at all. Then they come home and they're at home against the Raiders, at home against the Bengals, at the Packers. I see them starting off around 500.
Yeah.
Because I do believe they'll win that Raiders game. It's an East Coast, West Coast game. It's a 1:00 kickoff. And I think they'll win the Bengals game. But sandwiched in between that are two really tough games, 2 road trips to Buffalo, Green Bay. Then you've got the Broncos in Seattle, and at the Browns, and home against the Bears, home against the Lions. In those 5 games, because 4 of them are at home, I see them going 3-2. And at that point, they would be 5-4. And then you're looking at the home stretch at the Chargers, at the Bengals, at home against the Ravens, at the Vikings, at home against the Titans, at the Chiefs, at home against the Browns, at the Ravens. See. Okay, here we go. I planned that perfectly. So the draft is starting in less than 2 minutes. I wish it was starting a little fast. I hate when they say it's starting in 2 minutes and you get in there and goes, and now it's going to start in 2 minutes. You're like, what the hell?
Yeah.
In like 30 seconds after you get in the room. What the hell?
Yeah, it takes
in a mock draft. In a real draft, I get it. Draft, let's calm down. It's going to be interesting to see how y'all, by the way, navigate yourself through the draft that we do on that Wednesday morning. Are you going to be stuck at work? Are you going to be trying to act like you're going to the restroom during your picks?
What time is it?
It is going to start at 8:30 Eastern. It's going to be on during the show when the show normally is on. So 8:30.
Yeah, I'll be good for that. That's long before I go to work, so that'll be fine with me.
So I don't know if you've been on since I've talked about it. It should be arriving either today or tomorrow, hopefully. I've got essentially it's going to be our version of the Stanley Cup for the league, and it's a fairly big. I think it's a 3 foot. It might be 2.5 feet. Trophy that's going to sit behind me, and the previous champions are their name's going to be on the plate, and then this year that champion will go on the plate as well. So this version of this league has been going on since 2014. Okay. So we've got 6 or 7 champions already. So 14 to 20, yeah, 7. And then we will mail somebody a trophy. Well, I need to mute that. I always forget to do that. That's louder than hell. But we will then mail a smaller trophy to the champion. Okay. So this is obviously a free league. Armchair Quarterbacks are going to be in it, and then some of our viewers are going to be in it. So don't think you're not playing for nothing. You're playing for pride.
I'll be ready. I'm looking forward to competing for that trophy.
All right, so this is flying, by the way. We are now about to come up on the 8th pick. Real quick, Henry, McCaffrey, Cook, Kamara, Chubb. I forgot that after we do our pick, I will actually bring the screen in a little bit, but I don't want to do it in the middle of our pick. I don't know if you can see that well, but we've got Aaron Jones, Saquon Barkley, Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Diggs. Those are the top guys. Who do you want to draft?
I'll go with Tyreek Hill here.
Okay, Tyreek Hill. And then we get back-to-back picks. So do you want to go running back, or do you want to go Stephon Diggs, Travis Kelce?
I'll go with Jonathan Taylor. I think that'd be a good pick right there.
I think Jonathan Taylor. Oh, he is there. Okay.
Right there.
My bad.
He had been, his rank so low.
He had been higher. All right, let me do.
Yeah, probably has to do with the injuries to Wentz and Nelson.
Be 1 second. I got to change the way we share this. So we go. And all right. I didn't figure this out. All right. So that should be a much better view for the viewers. All right. So it's rolling really fast. So it truly is like an actual mock draft where people are just, basically warming up. Right. Now the viewers ought to be able to see this much better. We're playing around with this because this is essentially what the Saturday morning show is going to be for the next two or 3 weeks that we do this. And then the show is, so we got 3 more Saturday shows. And after that, there's 2 Sunday shows leading up to the draft. And the handicappers will then be 10 a.m. to noon every single Sunday during the season. Now, the show that the Bobby's on, the Dixie Football Nation, that will be on at 8:30 Eastern on Saturday mornings, just like this show is, because we didn't want to confuse the hell out of people. And we wanted to get going before game day comes on. Although I'll be honest with you, that thing's gotten worse and worse every year. I used to never want to even be broadcasting during game day. Now I'm like, I don't give a damn, dude. It's like, it's turning into fluff. Like when I was your age, Bobby, game day was awesome, special. It was different. And now I feel like it is 75% junky stories about how some guy had to walk 6 miles in the snow to practice every single day with bad violin music in the background and all that crap. So yeah. Okay. It's back to us. Can you see that pretty good?
Yes.
All right. So we've got our running back. We got a receiver. We got about 20 seconds to decide. What
Antonio Gibson, without a question.
Okay. Antonio Gibson. What do you like?
I love Gibson in that offense. I think they'll probably be passing the ball a lot more, but Gibson, he was a wide receiver in college, and his presence in the receiving game last year was already a lot. So I think that'll just improve. I think he'll take over more as the number 1 role. Last year, he was kind of splitting carries with J.D. McKissick.
So right now, our team has Hill, Taylor, and Gibson. Where you want to go now? We got 10 seconds.
We'll go with Keenan Allen.
Keenan Allen. All right. And so right now, what our team looks like is Hill, Allen, Taylor, and Gibson.
Mm-hmm.
And coming back, we'll need a receiver, a flex, a tight end, some depth. What are you eyeballing at this point? Now that you got your receivers and you've got your running back set, what are you eyeballing?
Typically with like a late first round pick, after I get the first 4 rounds done, I'd like to go 2 wide receiver, 2 running back, get those 4 important positions filled out. And then I'll typically.
But you're
go
looking more
quarterback
for
or
your
tight end.
flex. Yeah. So you're more focused on your flex than you are worrying about, like, if I don't even know who the quarterbacks are that are available right now. Usually someone's already taken Mahomes. Yeah. Mahomes is already gone. And the tight ends, Kittle, Hawkinson, Pitts. There's some. I really feel like after about this, Mark Andrews, it's a huge drop off.
Yeah.
So my opinion is, if you don't draft one of these tight ends, you can just punt it for a hot minute and get depth.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people are big on Tyler Higbee, but he's going to be. There's only one football in Los Angeles as far as I know. And everyone has been shooting him up the chart, but I'm like, dude, you've got Woods, you've got Kupp, you still have some decent running back options. It's not like Henderson is absolute garbage at this point. I don't hate Higbee. I just hate how high he's going. He's going really high. I've been in a lot of mock drafts, and he has been going extremely high, and people are just in love with him. And he disappears. Last year, he had 521 yards receiving. I bet that came in all about 6 games. All right, it is our time to draft. Where do you want to go?
I'll go with Robert Woods this pick. Go ahead and get our flex filled out.
I like that. I think he's got more value than Cooper Kupp. Because first of all, now you've got a quarterback who's got a gun, right? All right, now we got to go with another pick. Now are you going more flex? Are you going to go quarterback? Are you going to go tight end?
Let's go quarterback. Let's check out quarterback.
Okay. Yeah, Prescott, Murray.
We'll go with Kyler.
Okay.
I'll stay home. I'll be a little bit of a homer here. I'll go with Kyler. I think he's one of the best fantasy
I like
quarterbacks.
him, and I'll be honest with you, the only one you would have drafted above him would have been, according to this, would have been Dak Prescott. Man, give me the guy who's not hurt, right? Like, you know,
absolutely.
And honestly, I would be thinking maybe even give me Justin Herbert over him.
I like Herbert a lot this year. I do.
This guy right here would be a good secondary quarterback, but I don't want him to be my number one.
Yeah, a little bit too risky.
He could have an incredible year. You could also draft him and figure out the National Football League defensive coordinators have figured him out, and it's a wrap. and he's sitting on the sidelines. It's just it's too risky for me. Now, this surprised me that Aaron Rodgers, the MVP of the league last year, is going this far down as the quarterback. That's strange.
That's wild that he's below Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
pretty wild.
Like, is it just because people thought he wasn't going to play? It's by the time we draft in 3 weeks, will he be much higher? Because all this goes off of their algorithm of previous drafts. So I'm thinking that they're going to shoot up a little bit.
That makes sense.
All right. So right now the team looks like this. We got about 10 picks before we're going to pick again. But they've been moving really fast. We've got Murray, Hill, Allen, Taylor, Gibson, Woods. So we've got our starting team. The next we would either go for depth or a tight end, right?
Yeah, I think. We got back-to-back picks, so
right,
it's fine either way. But I think one of the next 2 picks has got to be tight end. If Hawkinson can fall, that'd be big.
All right, so I'll put him in the queue. If Hawkinson's not there, is there another guy you like? Because Pitts is gone. Your boy Pitts is gone.
I'm looking at Tanyan. here.
Okay, so we'll earmark those, and then to give us some time to figure that out, let's go flying over to the flex, because back-to-back picks, you don't have anyone on your bench right now. Where would you typically go at this point? Are you looking for running back depth or wide receiver depth?
Truthfully, we drafted a wide receiver as my flex, so
right.
I guess we'll say we have 3 receivers.
Right.
So I'll probably draft a running back here, but if there's a receiver good enough to make me overrule that decision, I'll pick him.
Okay, gotcha.
That's kind of how my logic is here.
So there's only 2 guys that are going to go before we draft, so you can kind of make your decision off what you see right here. And we'll definitely grab Hawkinson first, so it buys us a little time. What are you thinking? Because only one guy's going to go.
I'm going Swift right here.
Okay. So we'll grab Hawkinson, and then we will grab DeAndre Swift. What is this injury thing? Missing significant practice time. Nursing a sore groin. Do you still want him?
He'll be all right.
All right.
Yeah. I'll take that risk. He's more valuable than Miles Sanders.
It probably won't affect
Not
your
like-
box season, will it?
Probably not. No.
Now, if he's still hurt 3 weeks from now, are you still going, nah, he'll be all right? Or are you gonna be like, I don't know about this dude, man?
we can worry about that later because his bye isn't for a while, I don't believe, and we already got 2 starters in place, so I'll be fine.
Right.
I'll be willing to take that risk, you know.
Okay, so now this is what the team looks like. Murray, Hill, Allen, Taylor, Gibson. You got Hawkinson and Woods. So you got your entire starting lineup, and you've got a running back sitting on your bench. So at this point, we're going to start looking to build what next?
I'm going to keep loading up on wide receiver and running back because, I mean, obviously there's 2 of them that play each game. And I feel like running back, the injury concern every year. I mean, there's plenty of guys who go down, so you always want to be deep there. And receivers, I don't think you can ever get enough of them, really. I just think receivers, they're so deep in fantasy, and you know, any round really you can come by a great receiver.
So you're not going kicker yet, right?
Not quite, no.
How late do you wait for defense?
I go a little bit earlier than most people because I like to hop on that because I feel like the last couple of years in fantasy, I've waited too long for a defense and I get a crappy one, and then I regret it because each week I'm like having to ponder whether or not I want to drop them, and it's not worth it.
Right.
I'd rather get a
now, I don't know if you've
good
looked
defense.
have you looked at our scoring system yet?
I haven't, no.
Defenses are more important in our leagues than they are in typical
Okay.
because points given
I'll
up,
note that.
yards given up, all that. You know, a typical defense in like a crappy ESPN league's worth like what 5 or 6 points a game.
A little bit more than that sometimes.
Okay.
If they have a big game.
All right, we'll say what 10 to 12. Okay, at the most.
Yeah.
Usually, you can get like 30 points out of our defense in a game. Now they would have to play lights out, but it's more typical that you get around 15-ish. But it can make a big difference. Okay, we got the pick coming to us. Any guy that you see that you want to jump on? Or
I'll probably go with Damian Harris or Chase Edmonds here. Both of those 2 guys are going to be running back ones this year. So we'll go ahead and pick Harris.
Okay. So you do believe in Edmonds even with Connor coming over?
I do. I worry a little bit about goal line situations with Connor taking the points, but ultimately I think Edmonds, he was used a lot in the receiving game last year, and I think in points per reception leagues, I think he'll be good.
We got 10 seconds. Where are we going next?
We'll go with.
Gotta hurry.
We'll go with Jamar Chase.
Okay.
We'll give him a shot.
All right. So now the team looks like this: Chase, Harris, and Swift on the bench, and then of course we've got the full team right here. So looking at this, how many bench players? We might actually be able to draft an entire team. I'll tell you what.
Maybe.
Let's do this. Let's do one more double round, and then we'll get out of here. So we won't worry about a kicker, and we won't worry about that last bench player.
Gotcha.
All right. So when we come back, let's grab a defense, and then let's grab one more guy for our bench. Now, do you typically carry a second quarterback, or do you just say, screw it, I'm rolling with my guy, and then I'll worry about his bye week when his bye week comes along?
I do double up on quarterback, and I typically draft a tight end, honestly, depending on how many bench spots are on my league. But I think around this range, you start looking at backup quarterbacks now, because if Kyler were to go down, you'd want to have that position secured. And
now, right now, Aaron Rodgers is still sitting there, which is stupid. I mean, Brady and Hurts are ranked. Well, he was sitting there. Somebody must be watching the show. it was a guy by the name of Doug that drafted him, so I'm starting to wonder if our friend Doug's in this league. But I can't believe that he's going. I mean, Brady and Hurts. So Brady's never a great fantasy quarterback. He had like 1 year where you're like, man, I wish I had him. That was like when Randy Moss. You were probably still in diapers at that point. It's like I'm not putting Brady as my. If he look, I wouldn't hate to have him as a backup, but for him to be ranked above Aaron Rodgers is just ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous. He's ranked in front of Burrow and Cousins and Matt. Well, I don't know. Matt Ryan's getting long in the tooth. What quarterback are you honing in on now?
I'm looking at Matt Stafford, honestly. I say that because of the offense he's in. It's just such a high-powered offense, and I think he's set up to put up good numbers. There's no guarantee, but I think if things plays out like they expected to in LA, then Stafford will be a good backup quarterback.
All right, so it looks like Stafford's going to be there. What defense are you going to want?
I'm going with Washington. Are they gone or?
I think they're gone.
I've
seen them going very high.
Yeah, I'll probably settle in on Pittsburgh then.
Okay. So assuming Roy's not watching the show, by the way, when we do these drafts, we are going to open up the Zoom room. Anyone that wants to jump in can jump in. I'm going to share the league, the draft, and away we go. All right, so we'll go Pittsburgh.
Stafford.
And I think, Stafford is still there. So it would take quite a while for it to come back down. Basically, all we were getting is one more guy on our bench and a kicker. So pretty good team. It is an 8-man league because I didn't want to have to wait forever to draft. But, Kyler Murray, Tyreek Hill, Keenan Allen, Jonathan Taylor, Gibson, Robert Woods, Hawkinson, Swift, Harris, and Jamar Chase. I'm going to put a couple in the queue because I do like to have it have the rankings because they continue to rank you no matter what. Give me a couple of these flex that you would eyeball, and then we'll get out of here.
I'll say David Johnson just because of he'll probably be the lead back in the Texans. So we'll put him with a star.
Give me one more.
We'll do DJ Chark.
Okay, DJ Chark, and then
there you go.
I'll throw a couple in there just in case. I'll go ahead and get your backup tight end Noah Fant just in case.
There we go.
If
never mind.
And then we'll say Javonte Williams, running backs out of Denver. Did he already go? Oh yeah, he already.
Oh yeah, Fant went right with him.
Of course he did. So I'll grab one more up here. Kind of a dumpster fire. Especially in such. I'll grab one more tight end as a backup plan just in case. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and get out of there. It's time to turn back time. I wish you could set up those leagues, those box. Wish you could set them up for 30 minutes in advance because I would just tell you what it was right before I went on the air. It becomes almost impossible. But we'll try this again next week and just be ready to look for something that's about to go. And if I pick a league, it's going to be within about the 5-minute range because I'm going to try to, in other words, don't look at the bottom of the list, look towards the top of the list.
Gotcha.
That's funny that they had two of them named the same thing. You wouldn't think they would allow that. All right, time to turn back time and do our walk-offs here on the Armchair Quarterbacks. One day closer to football, baby. I'm so ready. I love fantasy football.
I can't wait.
I just absolutely love it. Are you in the YouTube league, the YouTube After Dark league?
I believe so. Yeah, I'm in that, and I'm in like an auction league.
Okay, so the YouTube After Dark, that's the auction league, and that's the $5 winner take all. And then the other league, the one we're going to do here on the show, is not an auction league. I can't run a board and draft and auction at the same time. I might as well go ahead and just put myself on an automatic queue at that point. There's I'd have no shot in hell. I had a pretty crappy team last year. I think I finished third. I don't even know how the hell I finished third, but I had a pretty crappy team. I felt like last year because it's so confusing because you're trying to run, you're trying to make sure that we're all talking, trying to run the show, and then you're also going, oh crap, oh man, I got auto drafted again. I think
you're probably on.
I think that's the one league I ended up with CEH. I think that's I believe that's how it happened. But
That's funny.
I could be making up excuses. Who knows? All right. All right. On this date, 1986, do you know who Billy Martin is? Ever heard of him?
I don't think I do. No.
Okay.
Billy Martin.
He was definitely before your time. Infamously hired and fired by the Yankees as a manager for years, 5 or 6 times over like a decade. Him and George Steinbrenner used to get into it. There's a famous mini series called "The Bronx is Burning" that you can find. That was, I think, ESPN made the movie. I don't know, about 15 years ago. It's really good. But anyways, on this date, 1986, on Billy Martin Day at Yankee Stadium, he said, and I quote, "I may not be the greatest Yankee to put on the uniform, but I damn sure am the proudest." And he used to get in fights. My grandfather watched him play minor league baseball in Oakland, California, years ago, like in the 40s, when my grandfather was stationed out there in the Navy during World War II. This is right before my grandfather ended up in the Pacific War. And he loved watching Billy Martin. It was either right before or right after the World War II. He loved watching Billy Martin because he said that he would catch the ball on a double play. And this is back when, men were men and you could break up double plays. And if guys came in spikes high, trying to gash him while he's trying to double play, he said Billy would throw the ball and then just come out swinging. And see Billy Martin get games almost every damn day, almost every time. And he's infamously got into it. Reggie Jackson in the dugout. Great miniseries, by the way. It's called "The Bronx is Burning." You can probably see it free on YouTube at this point. Birthdays.
It's your birthday today.
All right, that guy.
What does that mean?
A guy that never would have made it. How about we go? Well, I guarantee you haven't heard of that guy. So I'm going to go with. Ever heard of Edward Gordon? Probably
Edward Gordon.
Probably not. This is a long time ago. But he's from Jacksonville, Florida. And he was an Olympic long jumper. Won the Olympic silver medal in 1924. Passed away in 1966. All right, let's go with a guy that you probably do know. Ever heard? Well, I don't know if you've heard this guy. Ever heard of Riddick Bowe?
Riddick Bowe. I think I might recognize the name.
Riddick Bowe was a famous.
Riddick Bowe. I thought you said Rick Bowe. Riddick Bowe. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I do recognize him.
Famous heavyweight boxing champion, born in Brooklyn, New York. He is 54 years old today. He was in his heyday, the very tail end of Tyson's career, and when Lennox Lewis and Evander Holyfield, he was boxing in the 90s. Hell of a right hook. And then one more that we'll throw at you. Happy birthday. Man, there isn't really a big name that I think you would know. No, I don't really see one. I thought usually there's at least one mainstream one that I come across, but I don't really see it. What is your walk-off for the day?
Another baseball game. Rays Red Sox is on tonight at 6:10 Central Time. That's a pretty important game for the division, I believe.
Yeah, baby, go Rays. We're 4 games in front of the Red Sox right now.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a 3-game set in Boston.
Yeah.
So the last thing you can do is get swept.
No, that'll be good.
I will definitely be tuned into that. And then, of course, Braves. My walk-off for the day. You got Braves are playing the Reds in a 3-game series. Should be really good. The Reds are playing really good baseball. But also, if you're looking for something a little off the beaten path, you just want to watch a really good pitching matchup. The Dodgers are in Philadelphia tonight. Aaron Nola versus Max Scherzer. That should be phenomenal. And I did find a guy that you ought to know. Ever heard of John Starks?
Yeah, Knicks player. Point guard.
He is 56 years old today, which shocks me. I did not realize he would be that old. Yeah, John Starks was on the the Knicks guard. He was the one that hit the game. He sent the Knicks to the NBA Finals to play against the Rockets. Had an incredible Eastern Conference Finals, and then had some huge gaffes in the NBA Finals against the Rockets in the middle of the Rockets back-to-back championships. All right, brother. We will see you next Tuesday, 1 week closer to fantasy football, and we'll definitely do this again. All right. And
awesome. Sounds good.
I think.
Thank you.
Let me see. Who do you have next week that we're going to do? You got that in front of you? Oh, the Baltimore Ravens.
No.
Yeah, the Baltimore
Ravens. That's right. Yeah.
Looking forward to that. We'll see you.
That'll be fun. All right. Have a good one.
Goodbye, sweetheart. Well, it's time to go. We're back tomorrow with another show. Well, unless we're fired, we'll talk to you then. Goodbye, sweetheart. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Guys and gals, it's time to go. We'll see you on the next show.
Same bat time, same bat channel.
Thanks for listening to the Armchair Quarterbacks on these CBS Sports affiliates and catching the show on YouTube Live. We're here weekdays. Find Armchair Quarterbacks on YouTube Live today. Please subscribe and share and take us everywhere you go. The Armchair Quarterbacks, first choice for Southern sports talk, live from the First Coast.